What's up, guys? UFC 3, I'm just making sure we're live. UFC 310 is tomorrow, guys. And yeah, we are here. We're here to break down the card. I told you guys, I have been doing a lot of research on this card, guys. I have done a prediction for every single fight on the card. I want to break it off, go off the top, talk about some news that just came out. Tomorrow there'll be a video, talking about some of the press conference stuff that's going to go down. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern, about 4 hours from now or so. I wish it was a little bit earlier. Maybe I would have reacted to it live, but it is what it is at this point. So 4 p.m. Obviously we're live Thursdays, every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern, after a fight night or pay-per-view, before, so we can all break this down, talk about news live, answer some questions, and let's just have some fun. I'm trying to say. We're going to start off right off the bat. Like I said, I'm going to get into all my predictions. I literally predicted every single fight. Actually, I did mess up, guys, because I did actually forget one fight, I realized. So, apologies for that. I don't know what happened. I messed up. I realized 5 minutes before I started streaming, and then I meant to add a prediction. Now I'm just realizing I forgot. So, well, I'll give you guys... Honestly, I didn't even look into that fight. What's the parlay I got? Bonus bets to use. I don't know what you mean. Wait, what? Well, fun fact, though, we do, as I said last week, I know you were here, Pink Cloud. What's up? Welcome back. I said last week, look, we're bringing the bets. There is a official JackMMA parlay now. I'm waiting for the official sponsor, so we're not going to shout out any betting company today. So that's not happening. But I have a little bit of a different setup, as you guys see. Let me know what you guys think of the setup. So I want to break down some news off the top. We just found out UFC just posted on their Twitter, Instagram, all their social media, some fights for UFC 311. Obviously, last night we found out Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan's happening. We also found out co-main event Merab and Umar is happening. I made a video, came out earlier today, so go check that out if you guys want to see my full thoughts on that. And my opinion, I think they're setting up Merab, or maybe even Merab is trying to set up Umar. I did make a good point, and I honestly, I'm starting to think maybe this is more of Merab setting up Umar, because Umar said he couldn't fight in January. I digress, though. They posted other fight announcements that we knew of: Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prohaska. Other fights like, Kevin Holland versus RDR, which is another great fight. They added a whole bunch of fights, but this one kind of came out of nowhere. There was a little rumors of this a little bit ago. We're talking about Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. So that is not in the works. It's official for the card next January. So that's going to be added. Just another huge fight that is being added. I mean, this card is really shaping up to be one of the best January cards in recent history, in recent memory, I should say. One of the best cards in recent, sorry for that, guys. One of the best cards in recent memory in January. And just a great card in general. I mean, if you look at the Madison Square Garden card, it was good, don't get me wrong, but John Jones, was really carrying the card. That fight was carrying the card, and this card is a deep card this weekend, don't get me wrong, but there isn't that big fight. And this has the big fight. It has 2 big fights and 2 big title fights. It also has an amazing fight in Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska. This is a great card. I can't be more excited. I'm curious to see what they're going to do for the Australia card. I have a feeling maybe they'll try to do Ilya Topuria versus Volkanovski. Amazing. It is an amazing card. I mean, we're talking top to bottom, guys. Like I said, I did a video today where I showed the full card. Obviously, now we have this new fight added. I did see a rumor about this online not that long ago. I think Renato Moicano actually said this fight wasn't happening. He's like, yeah, this fight is not happening. I don't know what they're talking about. Denied that it was happening. But we see this all the time. We saw this with Joaquin Buckley. He also was like, remember, guys, he was like, oh, I'm fighting Ian Garry. It's fake news. And then literally 3 hours later, yeah, obviously, we know Ian Garry's fighting Shavkat. He's not fighting Joaquin next week. But the point is I'm yapping on and on. I'm about to get into my predictions. We're going to do a little bit, we have a little bit of a special treat today. As you guys can see, UFC 310 picks. Let's see. Hopefully, wait, hold up. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Maybe let me UFC. Damn, what the fuck? Hopefully this works. Oh, okay. Hold up, guys. Sorry, I got it working now. UFC 310 picks. We are live here, and yeah, this is a really great card. Here it is. Yeah, like I said, guys, we're doing this. We're gonna go through each fight. I did not do the first fight of the night, which is, I believe, what is the first fight of the night, guys? Do you guys know? Let me see. UFC 310. It's like, what is the first card? I'm drawing a blank now. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Oh, God. I went to the next week. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't do any of these fights. Okay. Yeah, Kenan and Shaku. Oh, yeah, versus Lucas Brzezik. Honestly, guys, I really don't know who's going to win that one. I didn't do much research on that, to be quite honest. So, I'm not going to make a prediction. Sorry, guys. I already failed, sadly. But we have predictions for every other fight other than that. I'll try next time to double check. I'm excited. Like I said, next pay-per-view is really good. So we'll do this again for the next pay-per-view. If you guys are watching after the live, comment in the comment section below what you guys think of each pick. Comment in the comment section below your own picks, because I'm curious about that too. I think you know, there's a lot of interesting picks you guys can make. A lot of these fights are close despite massive underdogs. So let's just get into it, guys. Let's stop wasting time. UFC 310 picks, main event, Alexander Pantoja versus Kaya Sakura. We're going to go from the bottom up. We're going to start with Chase Hooper versus Clay Guida, right? I'm going to talk about each one, talk about my prediction, how I think the fight's going to go. Obviously, look, I'm going with Chase Hooper by sub, okay, guys? Chase Hooper... you know, a lot of questions about him going to lightweight, right? There was a lot of questions. I was one of those guys that doubted it, but he has proved everyone wrong. I mean, who did he fight? Who's the guy that got submitted by Paddy Pimblett? Jordan Levitt? Is that his name? Jordan Levitt, Parlay Umar, and Islam. I mean, that's probably a massive... Well, I don't know. Is Islam going to be a big favorite against Arman Tsarukyan? Is he? Let me check. Oh no, I'm retarded. I'm already here. Whoopsie, guys. Islam versus Arman 2 odds. Let's see. Man, minus 265 is crazy. That is crazy odds. That I don't approve of. That's pretty crazy odds, in my opinion. I think the fight is much closer than that. But I am pretty confident. I do think that Islam will win. Minus 265 is a bit much. Look, if you want to do minus 190, minus 200, maybe even, that might be even pushing it, then by all means, fair enough. But Arman Tsarukyan has looked really good. You know, and I know Islam has beaten him in the past, but I think the second fight's going to be a lot different. I think it's going to look a lot different. I think it's going to be Islam kind of pushing back Arman, controlling the range, and that's how I see the fight going. I think that Arman's going to be wary of the takedown. Obviously, Arman is more than capable of defending the takedowns we saw in their first fight, but obviously, you're going to have to be a little more conscious of defending those takedowns. And of course, even Islam has to be conscious of Arman even taking him down, because Arman, of course, is a really good wrestler. We saw today the video of Hamzat and Arman Tsarukyan that they were wrestling or whatever, and it ended in a draw. So, and keep in mind, you know, Hamzat's a big dude. And yeah, but my point is that he held his own, and he's a good wrestler. And we saw in the first fight that he defended a lot of those takedowns from Islam. So I think that we're going to see, realistically, what can Arman do to Islam? Yeah, that's my thing, is I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a close, kind of slow-paced fight, but I think that Islam is going to keep him on edge with the takedown, keep Arman going backwards, and I think pick him apart. That's how I see the fight going. I think it's going to be like one of those, each round is close, but each round, you know, goes to Islam. I don't think it's going to be a battering. I don't think it's going to be, I mean, maybe a finish is possible. Anything's possible, but I don't think it'll be a finish. My guess is decision. I mean, you know, when you look at the Charles Oliveira versus Islam performance and the Arman versus Charles, obviously MMA math doesn't always work, but facts are the facts. Islam did better against Charles than Arman did against Charles. Some people think that Charles won. I don't think that. I'm a big Charles Oliveira fan. I don't think that he won, but you know, I'm willing to be unbiased and say that. But you know, look, at the end of the day, I think Islam is going to pick him apart at range. But let's talk about, like I said, we're getting to the first fight of UFC 310. Clay Guida versus Chase Hooper. Okay, so this is the first fight of the night, like I said. I think personally, I think that, like I said, we talked about Chase Hooper. He moved up to lightweight at this point, a couple years ago, honestly, at this point. And what do you call it? So there was a lot of question marks, but I really like that Jordan Levitt performance. He subbed him really quick. It was a really good fight, too. It was like just crazy scrambles. And look, Clay Guida, we know this. This is kind of a veteran, going against a young prospect. And Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper's like a minus 1,000 favorite, something like that, and for good reason. I think he's gonna get a sub. Obviously, Clay Guida does have good jiu-jitsu as well, but I think at some point I would find it hard to believe that Chase Hooper doesn't get a chance to kind of fully control him at some stage in the fight and get the sub from there. So my prediction, I don't know about first round, second round. I'd probably say end of first, beginning of second. My opinion, and under 1.5. That's just my guess. And like I said, we're gonna have bets at the end. The bets are gonna be at the end of the slides. So we move on. Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin. I'm gonna go with Max Griffin by decision. Okay, guys. Now this one I was a little 50-50 on. Not the fight, but just because of just based on how the fight's gonna go. I think that there is definitely a big possibility that Max Griffin finishes Michael Chiesa. I think that by TKO, because Michael Chiesa has not looked. Look, I like Michael Chiesa. He has not looked, of course, I don't think the best as of late. He did beat Tony Ferguson, but obviously, I think that was a little bit of a closer matchup, and for him and Max Griffin. Not that he's some world beater or anything like that, but he does have power. He has knocked out guys before. I think it'll be interesting to see if Chiesa will be able to control him. Chiesa, I think, has really good jiu-jitsu, very entertaining jiu-jitsu. I mean, I think he is one of the most underrated, entertaining guys when it comes to the ground. He gets chokes, all this and that. But, so I think that it is possible for Max Griffin to get it done, but I do think that Michael Chiesa will stick around. Maybe, the grappling, I think, will stall some of the exchanges. And I think Max Griffin will win a decision. That's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. But that's my prediction. And Max Griffin has gone to the scorecards a couple times, so I don't think he has like one punch knockout power that you got to be wary at all times. This isn't like a Kevin Holland who hurt Michael Chiesa and finished him super early. We move on. What is this? Cody Durden versus Joshua Van. All right, so this fight. It was hard for me to pick this one, right? But I do think that, it wasn't really that hard for me to pick. What am I saying? But Joshua Van, I think by decision, all right? I was a little back and forth with this one. Not back and forth by the actual decision of who's going to win the fight, but based on how. I think Joshua Van, look, he had that good fight at UFC 306 against, I'm drawing a blank. Edgar Chairez, right? Or whatever. He had a really good fight. He showed toughness. He moved forward. I think he's going to get this done. I think it's going to be a pretty banger fight. I think this is just honestly a pretty good win for him. I'm pretty confident in this pick. I'd be surprised if it went any other way, but that's just my prediction, guys. I don't know what you guys think, but that's my pick. This is definitely, I think, one of the how do I put this? Like one of the least hyped fights, I think, of the night. Because honestly, this is also a great card. It just, like I said, I don't think it's getting that respect because there isn't that massive fight. Like, imagine if this was headlined by like an Alex Pereira. This would be a crazy card, and I think it would get a lot more respect. Move on. Eryk Anders versus Chris Weidman. Now, Eryk Anders has been on the channel, and I will say, guys, Eryk Anders, I don't even know if I should say this because I'm disappointed in myself, but I will tell you guys a little exclusive stream story. Eryk Anders did do an interview on the channel a long time ago, about a year and a half ago, right before his fight with Kyle Dawkins, right, where he won by knockout. And we actually did an interview this week, but it got lost in the files, guys. The file actually got corrupted, and it was MIA. But, Eryk Anders, so credit to him. He did do the interview. We did talk. It was going to be on the channel at some point. Sadly, did not get there, but it was a really good conversation. And look, he's a cool dude. Eryk Anders, at the end of the day, it's a good fight because, look, I like Chris Weidman as well. I like both guys. This isn't just me picking one guy over the other because, there was an interview or this and that. I didn't meet Chris Weidman, but I did go to his gym that time and do the interviews there, if you guys recall, a while back. But potentially could have bet him too. Then it would have been 2 guys interviewed. But yeah, no. Anyway, look, Chris Weidman. I was surprised he won against Bruno Silva. Right, Bruno Silva. That was obviously a lot of controversy with the eye pokes and things like that, and how it ended. But Chris Weidman, I thought, did look pretty decent in that fight. As well. But here, I think that how I see this fight going is this. I think that Chris Weidman is going to want to get this to the ground. Eryk Anders has good takedown defense. I think he's going to defend the takedowns, and I think it's going to be a dogfight. Even Eryk Anders said this to me when I did that interview that now is lost. He even said himself, he's like, yeah, I think this is going to be a dogfight. And I think he's accurate in that. I think 1,000% he's accurate, and I think he's going to press forward. And I think he's gonna hurt Chris Weidman. I think this is going to be a very fun fight while it lasts. It could go to a decision. I'm a bit 50-50 on this as well, on the actual method of victory. However, I think this is going to end at 3rd round, KO, TKO. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards decision as I'm talking about it right now, but I picked KO when I did these slides, so we're going with that. But it could either go. It could be a knockout because Eryk Anders does have power, and he's a fun fighter too. So I think he's a tough guy. I think that both guys are tough. Both guys are durable. I think that Chris Weidman just has had a little bit, when you're looking at these fights, he tends to get injured, and because he's had a long career, because he's done a lot of the wrestling, because he broke his leg, for Christ's sake. He broke his leg, how many years ago now? Like 3, almost 4 years ago, coming up next year, which is crazy. But he broke his leg brutally. And his comeback fight, who did he have that comeback fight against? It was, Brad Tavares. Against Brad Tavares, which was not a good style matchup at all. Not a good style matchup for him at all. A good guy with good takedown defense. And actually, Chris Weidman didn't do all that bad in that fight, but he did mess up his leg. It just seems like to me, I'm really worried about his injuries. I'm not saying Eryk Anders hasn't been in the UFC either for a long time, but, Chris Weidman has obviously had such a long career, has been knocked out, finished a lot. I'm going to go Eryk Anders on this one. We're going to move on to this fight I'm really excited about. We're going to break into the prelims now, I believe. Randy Brown versus Brian Battle. This one's a bit controversial. So you are rich from betting with your tips. I never said I was rich. All right, guys, look, I'm going to say this right now. No, first of all, no, I'm far from rich with my betting tips. I don't know what my betting, look, I'm not saying I'm betting on every fight. This is just my predictions. I have my bets at the end of this, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to tell you guys straight up, I'm not a fucking expert. So I'm not saying and I know, watch, like all the fucking views are going to drop now because I'm just saying this, but I want to be fully transparent. I'm doing this for fun. I actually did, I tend to be, I will say, I'm not to gas myself up, but a lot of these predictions, I usually, I have a pretty good success rate. Let's put it that way, all right? And I'm not going to try to, UFC 311 for to be stacked. Yeah, we just talked about that before. Crazy card. Crazy. Beneil Dariush, Renato Moicano just got announced. Let's show it up again for the people that missed it. Yeah, crazy. That fight got announced. Yuri Proska, Jamal Hill, that's a crazy fight too. Kevin Holland, RDR, I think that's a sleeper fight. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but I'm excited. RDR in one, double champ. Come on, guys. This is a great card. But, in Islam, I'm really excited for Merab Umar, especially with the bad blood. The matchup itself is really interesting. The history behind Georgia, Russia, and that whole beef that's going on between the two. It seems like there's some real bad blood there, and that I think is probably my more anticipated fight, more than even Islam Arman, if I'm going to be honest. And I also really like Merab. Merab is such a great guy. I always tell a story. Like, Merab, I think he was coming off the Jose Aldo fight when I met him, and it's on the channel, but he was such a great guy, even in private. Like, Merab is a standout dude. Who is Moicano fighting? Money Moicano is fighting Beneil Dariush. He's fighting Beneil Dariush. This definitely seems like a good matchup for Moicano. Beneil's obviously suffered back-to-back first-round knockouts, which is, tough mentally to overcome, if we're going to be honest. If we're just talking about the mental aspect of the game, it's very hard to overcome that. Just how do you even go into that fight like that? But Moicano's looked so good lately. Don't disrespect Moicano, man. Moicano has looked so amazing. But no, I'm excited for the Umar fight with Merab. I think Merab could get it done. And I was saying Merab is a great guy, even in private. He's a humble dude. And yeah, so I think everyone should you should not root against Merab in anything. You know what I mean? I actually like Umar too. You know what I mean? I'm not so much of a fan of like Islam and all those guys, but I like Umar a lot actually. I think Umar is really dope. He's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, honestly, Dagestani fighters. And he's really good too. I mean, he's good. Does he deserve a title shot? In my unbiased opinion, I like Umar. I'd say no. I don't think he deserves a title shot. I've done a video on it in the past where I said, no, I don't think he deserves a title shot here. And look, at the end of the day, it's just, it's true. And am I upset about it? Am I going to rage and make, and cry about it? No, but it's a good fight. I mean, at the end of the day too, like who else is there? I mean, in all fairness, like, are we going to do, I mean, if Figueiredo won, I would think there's a pretty strong case for Figueiredo. Because like being a flyweight champ, then he would have beaten Petr Yan, all this and that. But I don't really want to see Yan rematch personally right now. I think Yan maybe give him another fight, and let's see. And if we got to do it, we got to do it because of how one-sided that fight was. And O'Malley, I mean, I actually didn't mind that idea, doing a rematch of that, because people shit on injuries and throw it out the window. I think it depends on the injury. And Sean O'Malley. One thing about Sean is, he, and I know he's going to get credit, like, what bravery for going in with injuries. It's so annoying. Like, this guy comes in with insane injuries and just, like, and a lot of times it does work for him, though. I mean, let's be honest, but he came in with, like, a hip. Like how do you think you're going to beat Merab? Merab is a tough dude. Merab is a great fighter, but I guess when you beat Aljamain, I mean, the odds are so stacked against O'Malley, against Aljamain, and to be fair, against Aljamain also would argue a lot of odds were stacked against him, but like, how are you going to go into that? He had like a something wrong with his hip joint. Like, how do you think you're going to grapple? You can't even train grappling, and you can't even like that's also why I don't think you throw a lot of teep kicks, because I think you're when you're throwing a teep kick, you got to also push with your hip. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just flick my foot. No, you got to dig in, push with your hip. Like, how do you expect to do that? You know what I'm saying? I don't get any of that. I digress, though. Like, it's frustrating. I just, obviously, in a perfect world, I'd love to see all these fighters 100% healthy, just so we could just know, hey, look, this is legit. We don't have to have any question. So I say all this just to say I wouldn't have minded the Sean O'Malley rematch, but I feel like the Sean O'Malley rematch and Umar fight are equal to me. Like, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think there was really any other option. So that's my opinion. But let's continue with the prelims, though. We open up the prelims, Randy Brown, Bryan Battle. This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion because I think that Bryan Battle is a pretty decent favorite, I think I saw. But I think I got Randy Brown, guys. Now, I like Bryan Battle a lot. I've been following Bryan Battle since The Ultimate Fighter. I watched that season live when it came out. I've given up on The Ultimate Fighter. I watched the Conor McGregor one. I got Bryan Battle by murder. Yeah, it's... I totally understand. I think Bryan Battle, if he's going to win, I think he'll win a finish. Pink Cloudy's fighting Darius. Yeah, we just talked about him fighting. We were just actually getting into that matchup, but I think look, I could see Bryan Battle winning totally, but I just think I like this matchup too because both long, rangy welterweights. But I think Randy Brown is underrated, and I'm not just saying it because he's a New York boy like myself. You know what I mean? I don't want to dox myself. But, we're from similar neighborhoods, if you know what I'm trying to say. And yeah, basically, I think that he's got the ability. I think he's actually underrated. He's on a pretty decent win streak now, right? After losing to Jack Della Maddalena. I know he lost to Jack Della, but you never know. I mean, there's the weight cut. Obviously, a lot of people had trouble with weight cutting. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm just saying it's just the fact of the situation. Battle by KO. He's not the Pooh Bear anymore. Yeah, I know. I miss the Pooh Bear days, but he's the Butcher now. And look, I think there's a lot of hype around Bryan Battle. But I think Randy Brown will get this done. I think it'll be like a 29-28 decision. But I really don't know. It really could go the other way. I think it's either Bryan Battle by knockout or Randy Brown by decision. That's what I think. But we'll see. I mean, I think that it'll be a more out-voluming. I think that, like I said, I really think that Randy Brown's underrated. I think you guys might be sleeping on him. I don't think it's... I'm not saying you guys are saying it's 100% Bryan Battle, but it is a pretty close matchup. You guys can't lie. And I think the betting odds are not representing that accurately, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. And I could be totally wrong. I think it's more interesting, I will say, if Bryan Battle wins. And I'm kind of rooting for Bryan Battle. Even though Randy Brown is from New York and all that, you know, I tend to root for the New York guys. Maybe that's why I root for Merab too, because he trains here too. But, you know, so maybe it's just a little bias. No, I'm not. I can separate my bias, and I'll say, yeah, no. Yeah, I see a lot of battle by murder. Guys, at the end of the day, this is just, we'll see. We find out Saturday. Moving on. Oh, this is one I want to talk about. Hot take, guys. Hot take. Yes, I think Aljamain Sterling will beat Movsar Evloev. And not only will I say that he'll beat him, I'm fairly confident in this. Fairly confident. Now, I know I just talked about the New York bias, this, and this. No, all right? This has nothing to do with bias. This has nothing to do with any of that. I'm going to tell you guys why. First of all, both these guys are incredibly strong. So I think that when, and they both have such a good wrestling background, and I think a big thing for Aljamain, and I'm going to get into that in a second, is he has really good jiu-jitsu, right? Here's what I think. I think that the grappling might be nullified, right? I think that maybe we'll see Movsar get some takedowns, and maybe even Aljamain get some takedowns. You know what I mean? There's a big what's the word? There's like a big conception or whatever from the public that, you know, that, oh, the Dagestan fighters are just 1,000%. I don't know who wins, but I know we'll all lose. You know, that this is a guaranteed decision. Actually, I wouldn't say guaranteed. I think if anyone's going to finish anyone, I think probably everyone would agree it's going to be Sterling, probably by sub if there was a finish. But, I mean, you don't know. I mean, if Movsar goes out there and TKOs Aljamain, it would be a big deal. I mean, this is I can't believe this is buried in the prelims, too. I mean, come on. There's definitely some fights we could replace. But I actually am not... I don't think the fight will deliver, don't get me wrong, but I'm excited to see who wins just because of the stakes. I also think Aljamain has had a bit of a turnaround in terms of the public. I have never hated on Aljamain, by the way, guys. I have always been, you guys could check my Twitter, I have always been an Aljamain defender. I have always said, since the knee, I never got the hate about the knee. You know, we could debate this all day, all night, but in my opinion, I don't really get how people blame him. At the end of the day, even if Aljamain, let's just say he did, you know, fucking gas it and fake and was just like crying about the knee, this and that. And he wasn't really as hurt as he was making it out to be when he got kneed by Ciryl Gane, of course, a couple years ago. Even if that's the case, it's like, whose fault is that? Ciryl Gane, right? He's the one that kneed Aljamain. And look, I'm not advocating for faking this, but, you know, like, for faking, like, you know, knees the head. And look, maybe does Aljamain deserve a little, like, you know, jokes made at him if that is genuinely what happened? Sure, but first of all, I think he was actually hurt. You know what I mean? And even if he wasn't hurt, let me put it this way. There's a title on the line. You're really going to risk your career and say, yeah, you know what? I think I'm fine. Let me go out there. For what? Just for fans aren't going to give a fuck. The same people criticizing Aljamain for you know, taking, for you know, ending the fight and getting disqualified. I don't know how you blame him. I don't even know how to put it. But the same people that would blame Aljamain would not even blink an eye when Aljamain would get knocked out like 20 seconds later. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would all just be like, oh, excuses. Come on, dude. You know what I mean? And I get Ciryl Gane has a big fan base, and I think that's kind of what it is. But he did not deserve all that hate. But it seems like he's getting a little bit of a turnaround, especially because, look, he fought O'Malley pretty quick notice, got pretty much screwed by the UFC, seemingly, right? It seems like the UFC pretty much did try to just screw him into losing and had the odds stacked against him. As I said before, a lot of odds were against Sean O'Malley, but that was outside the UFC's control. My point is, though, is it's interesting because he definitely has a bit of a turnaround, and potentially this could be a new life for him at featherweight. You know, I saw somewhere that he said if he didn't do well in the last fight against Cater, he would have retired. That's a little bit worrying because, you know, how much he probably did make a lot against O'Malley. And he's probably made a lot of money, of course, defending his title multiple times. I think he headlined against Cejudo. Don't think he ever headlined before that, did he? No, I don't think he ever had. I think that was his first headline against Cejudo. So he headlined against Cejudo, fought TJ as well, defended his title there, defended his title against Ciryl Gane the second time, and, you know, obviously won the title originally. Point is, though, is that, look, he's made enough money. Is his heart in this? Because, look, I can tell you, Movsar definitely needs to win more. But let me tell you why I think he wins. I think that the wrestling will get nullified. And I think that Aljamain striking is a little awkward. It's weird to deal with. And I think that it might throw off Movsar Evloev. And I think that Aljamain could out-volume Movsar. And I think keep it on the feet. And even if it goes to the ground, I think threaten with submissions and stall those. Like, even if Movsar gets a takedown, what I'm trying to say is I think that he's not going to get much damage across enough to win a round, because Aljamain is going to hold him in a guard or maybe hold him in a submission like we saw Diego Lopez do, right? Diego Lopez nearly beat Movsar. And Aljamain has a deadly guard, you know what I mean? He's deadly on the ground, even off his back. And I'm not saying he's going to submit him off his back. I'm just saying it is. I think what it will do is disrupt certain things that Movsar will do, and I think that the wrestling will be nullified. I think that what do you call it? That Aljamain is a really good wrestler. I mean, look at the Henry Cejudo fight. You know, Henry Cejudo is an Olympic level wrestler, and he defended those takedowns. Didn't get taken down much, didn't get controlled much, and actually went out there and controlled Cejudo. But there's obviously a chance that Movsar wins. I think if Movsar wins, it's going to be that he just controls Aljamain, but I just don't see that being a possibility, and I think that Aljamain is pretty decent on the feet. This fight will cement why Aljo is fighting on the prelims. We'll find out. But, guys, it's, you know, let me think. Like, how's Aljamain? You know, I'm trying to think. I think Movsar's boxing is going to win the striking. I think that what do you call it? I think that if Movsar keeps really, you know, disciplined with the boxing, that he'll definitely win. But I think that his striking isn't as good. I think, look, if you look at some of the fights, he's struggling against Arnold Allen. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, obviously, I don't think Aljamain strikes as good as Arnold Allen, but I'm just saying boxing is good. But I think Aljamain has some really good kicks, flashy kicks, that I think will throw off Movsar, throw off his timing, the side kicks, the oblique kicks, you know, keeping the range. Aljamain's very rangy. I think he'll defend the takedowns. I think it'll be very close. I think it's going to be like one of those fights where they're both staring at each other. You know what I'm saying? Very little strikes being thrown. But anyway, you know, I get also the hate about Aljamain, I guess, with the boring fights. I mean, I don't think he's, like, I'm trying to think, like, have I ever watched, like, an Aljamain fight and been like, oh, I'm bored? I mean, I would say that the Calvin Kattar fight is probably the most boring fight he's had in a while. That wasn't exactly the best fight. Probably, maybe the most boring fight of his career, honestly, unless you guys come up with a better one. But that's why I think it's going to be the volume. I think it's going to be, you know, the flashy kicks. I think it's going to be the awkward timing that throws off Movsar, and I think that Movsar won't be able to get a takedown off against Aljamain, and that's where I think we're going to go from there. So we move on. Oh, Vicente Luque. Oh, this is a good fight. So, obviously, Vicente Luque, let's just talk about this, because Vicente Luque got screwed. All right, Vicente Luque was supposed to fight, as we know, Nick Diaz. Made countless videos on the Nick Diaz situation. I'm still investigating this. Don't worry, guys. I have not given up. Still trying to find the truth. You know, does it lead anywhere? I don't know. We'll find out. But I do think that the Nick Diaz situation is sad. I think it's legit. I think the people that have been commenting, I see to this day, I see people commenting, oh, that this isn't Nick Diaz. It is Nick Diaz. It's confirmed Nick Diaz. You know what I'm saying? It's quite literally confirmed. Do we know when the video is? No. There's very vague details, which tell me a lot. Like, the silence is very loud. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. If you guys get what I'm saying. I think Movsar has this. I could see it being close, but I think that, I don't know, I'd be surprised. I'm pretty decently confident Aljamain is going to win. That's my opinion. But obviously, Nick Diaz situation is sad. I think, you know, this is just a big L, though, overall for Vicente Luque, right? Because he's going to be fighting Themba Gorimbo, right? And I think that Gorimbo is just going to win. And I think it sucks because, obviously, you're getting a big name in Nick Diaz, and then all of a sudden you're going to get switched up with Gorimbo. And look, at the end of the day, Luque has not looked the best. Luque, obviously, he fought Jeff Neal, and he had a brain bleed. And ever since then, he's not looked the same. I mean, against Joaquin Buckley was against, right? I believe that he seemingly looked like he kind of gave up. I hate saying a fighter gave up because, like, I'm not the one fucking stepping into an octagon. I gave up before I stepped in because I haven't even stepped in. So, I hate saying, oh, that this person gave up this whatever, but it did look like that. And so I hate to say it, but it did kind of look like that. And Greenbow, yeah, he has some knockouts. He's an entertaining fighter. I think that this is a good matchup for him. I mean, the only question mark is I guess he did kind of take this on relatively short notice, but not too short notice. I mean, about over a month, well over a month. Maybe, yeah, about over a month or so, right? And yeah, so he's had a decent amount of time to train. I think he's got this by knockout. So sad for Vicente Luque because, dude, this is the old switcheroo. People thought he was going to beat Nick Diaz easy. You know what I'm saying? He was a big favorite in that fight. And now and now he's switched out. Now I think he's going to lose. So we'll see what happens. But moving on, we're going to get to the prelim headliner before we get to the main card. Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Smith. I need to take a drink because my throat is getting dry. I'm also a little sick, guys. So I don't know if you guys could hear it. Probably not because I'm not that sick. But moving on, though. This is an interesting fight. I think this is, I think Dominic Reyes, look. I really think that Dominic Reyes might be cooked, to be honest. I have a theory when it comes to guys that play, like, football and rugby and all this and that once they get knocked out, like, they get finished very easily. Like, look at Volkanovski, right? Volkanovski obviously had a really good run as a featherweight, but he got knocked out by Islam, got knocked out by Topuria, and I have a feeling his chin is going to be gone. Why? Because he probably took a lot of head damage from rugby. I know he's come out and said he's never gotten a concussion before the Islam fight or before whatever fight. I don't believe that. I think he probably has suffered at least some sort of brain, maybe not a diagnosed concussion, but definitely at the very least some brain damage. And Dominic Reyes is another guy who he played football. He's definitely suffered plenty of concussions. And he can't take too many of those at the end of the day. And that's why I think his chin is completely gone. I mean, his chin, I don't want to say is laughably gone because I like Dominic Reyes. He seems like a really good dude. And I feel terrible that he got screwed in that whole John Jones situation. But it is laughably gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like a Johnny Walker. Yeah, no, that actually makes sense. Yeah, that's my theory. I do think this. And I've been thinking it for a while. There's other fighters. I can't think on the top of my head, but I always think, and there's a few fighters that have consistently got knocked out. Like, this isn't just two. Like, there's been, like, a couple. And I genuinely think that brain health, that's why I always talk about on the channel. Like, one of the biggest things I talk about in predictions, I always take into account damage. I think damage is a huge indicator of who's going to win a fight. Because you can't, you really can't. You got to be really careful with how you train, the fights you do. And I think that cardio has a lot to do with it. Like, if you notice people that have good chins, like Max Holloway, he has phenomenal cardio. I think a lot of it has to do with your heart rate. I think all that kind of plays into chins, and that I definitely take into account. I think that's something that a lot of people don't take into account is health. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even just how good your chin is and the damage, but also your cardio and all of that. So I think health is super important. But yeah. So Dominic Reyes, though, I don't think that why I'm bringing this up is I think Dominic Reyes will win this fight, but I don't know. It seems like the UFC are trying to build him back up to potentially be another contender, I guess, because they see him as a bigger star, maybe because of the whole John Jones thing. Maybe they feel like that there's a lot they could do with him promotionally. But I genuinely just think it's going to be a situation where where I do think he's going to beat Anthony Smith. But what are you going to do? Hand feed him matchups that are against people that don't hit hard? Like, imagine him against Pereira. Like, he might die. Like, we might actually see the first octagon death in the ring. I mean, he got knocked out by a jab. You know what I mean? Against Ryan Spann. Knocked out cold. Nonetheless. Yeah, so he got knocked out cold and literally by a jab. Like, the right hand missed. So, that's not a good sign. He got knocked out by Yuri brutally by that elbow. Got knocked out by pretty, I won't say it was pretty brutal by Jan Blachowicz, but if we're going to talk about brutal, I mean, the Yuri Prohaska one was brutal. And also, the jab from Ryan Spann, it flattened him out cold. I couldn't believe it when it happened. I actually was there. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what actually happened? Let's see. What did you say? Hold up. What the fuck's going on? I think they just want it to give him another win and retire Smith. It could be that, I guess. But I feel like there's a lot more to do promotionally with Smith than there is Dominic Reyes. Maybe they feel like maybe they feel like Anthony Smith could win this fight. Maybe they feel like it's a 50-50 matchup, even though the odds don't reflect that at all. Maybe they feel like that. I don't think it's a 50-50 matchup either. I'm pretty confident Dominic Reyes will win. And I'll get into why in a second, but I feel like there's more to do. Well, I guess not really anymore with Smith, because Smith and Pereira squashed the beef, right? But if they didn't squash the beef, there would have been a lot more promotional you could have done with Anthony Smith. And it would have been an easy matchup, let's be honest, for Pereira. And it would have been interesting to see, can Smith not get knocked out? Obviously, I think he would have gotten knocked out, but I'm just saying, like, I think some people would be like, oh, he's Lionheart, this and that. And, but, I mean, obviously got knocked out by Khalil, so we know he can get knocked out, and if he can get knocked out by anybody, it doesn't matter. Pereira just hits like a truck. Anyway, though, I do think this fight will go to a decision. I think that this will be good footwork from Dominic Reyes. I think he's just going to outpoint him. I think he's going to probably land some big damage onto Smith. I think Smith will clinch him up, try to get him clinched up, and I think maybe, delay some of the exchanges, which will lead this to go to a decision. Like, a lot of these, like, I'm not saying Dominic Reyes can't knock him out. I just think that the Smith is nowhere near a title shot. No, I don't think he's anywhere near a title shot either. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to push anybody promotionally and give selective matchups to get them to a title shot, I would have thought they would have done that for Smith instead of Reyes. That's what I was trying to say, because I think Reyes genuinely, like, what are you going to do after if he wins? Well, I think you will win this fight, but if he, assuming he wins the fight, who are you going to feed him? Jamal Hill? I mean, the loser of Jamal Hill, Yuri. I mean, obviously he fought Yuri already, but who else is there? I mean, Magomed has some knockouts. You know what I mean? Like you really, this is literally a matchup where, come on, Anthony Smith isn't going to, I wouldn't be surprised, though. This is the thing. I really would not be surprised if Anthony Smith knocks out Dominic Reyes. And if he does, Dominic Reyes, love him. Hope the best for the guy, but he needs to retire, because that would be terrible if he gets knocked out brutally cold, like in the first round. Obviously, anything could happen. If it happens, TKO, okay, I understand, maybe not. But my point is, though, is that, like, if you're going to push anybody selectively, then again, they're not in contention. They're just old vets now, gatekeepers. I think so, too, but I think that, honestly, I get the vibe that they're trying to build Dominic Reyes up, because he won his last fight against, who did he fight last time? Who did he fight? Let me double check this. Who did he fight last time? He fought, in his comeback, he fought Dustin Jacoby, right? And he knocked him out in the first round. Maybe there's a potential for a knockout for Dominic Reyes here, but I do think that it'll be delayed from the clinching. They're hoping for a double retirement, or they think his chin is recovering and want to push him. Yeah, I think they think his chin. I think they're just trying to push him. I mean, I think that maybe, look, I'm not the UFC. I don't think the move is, let's push him. I think they should give him a do or die matchup. Look, like who's in the, I don't know who's in the top 5 yet. It was Jacoby. I don't think they're in the top. I don't think, what do you call it? Whoever's in the top, whatever you call it. What the hell's going on here? I don't know who's in the top 5. I mean, let me look it up right now. Actually, let me look it up with y'all. I'll look up who's in the top 5 right now. UFC rankings. Let's see. I don't know who's in the top 5. Let me zoom this in a bit. All right. So this is the top 5. I mean, yeah. Like, who do you give them at this point? I mean, maybe Ratchik. Have they fought? No, they haven't fought before. I think they had beef, Ratchik and him. I mean, Carlos Ulberg, I think that would have been, like, give him a do-or-die matchup where, look, Carlos Ulberg, I think, would beat him, honestly. But, look, that's a big name. Or Johnny Walker, tell me not. The battle of the weakest chins. That would have been a fire matchup. Come on, that would have been hilarious instead of Bogdan Guskov. But, I guess they want to get rid of Walker. Like, come on, I don't get why they're pushing Dominic Reyes so much. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not trying to hate on him. But why are you trying to build him up? They really should have done. Ratchik is still somehow a top 5er. Yeah, no, I don't know how, honestly. Ratchik has been out for like 7 years and lost to Yuri last time. But he didn't do that bad against Yuri in the beginning, but still. I think that would have been a better matchup. Him and Ratchik. Like, you do that matchup. And look, yeah, get rid of Ratchik or you get rid of Reyes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Not literally get rid of Ratchik. I'm sure he probably wouldn't have gotten cut. But then you give him, young up-and-comers. Not that Ratchik is necessarily old, but you give him harder matchups. That just, look, and I'm not saying, I'm not advocating for this and saying that I want Dominic Reyes out. I'm just saying at the end of the day, this is how the UFC works. We're delusional if we're not going to acknowledge that the UFC does this to people, push them out. And I would think that at the end of the day, I think the UFC is going to turn on Jones after he retires and will push Dom as the guy who really beat John. I was thinking that too, like maybe that's what they're trying to do. But to me, my big question mark is I totally get that. If it wasn't so abundantly clear that Dominic Reyes' chin is just completely gone. Like, the thing I don't get is, like, it's just a waste of time, in my opinion. I think that Reyes will win this fight. Like I said, I think he's going to outpoint him. I think maybe he does finish Anthony Smith. Maybe he does it, because Anthony Smith has taken damage. So maybe he does something big and knocks him out cold. Maybe he does. Maybe that's a big thing. But then what's next? He goes to the top 5, and then who do you give him? A Pereira title shot? Like, is that what they're really going to do? Just give Pereira a highlight reel, a free knockout? I don't think so. They really should have done Johnny Walker versus Dominic Reyes. I'm actually pissed that they didn't do that. That would have been a hilariously fun matchup. And I think the fans would have gone crazy for it, right? I think we would have gone nuts because it's just like whoever lands the first shot is getting knocked out. Nah, but honestly, Walker, compared to Reyes, has a granite chin, in my opinion, because I think Dominic Reyes really does not have a good chin at all. That's what's baffling. Maybe I'm completely off the mark on this, and we'll find out. But eventually, I don't think we'll find out in this fight, but we'll find out. Maybe I think they're just trying to give him some warm-ups. Give him a looser of Hill Yuri. That's what I said before, but it's like, first of all, he already fought Yuri, obviously, and he got brutally knocked out. He actually didn't do all that bad against Yuri, if we're going to be honest. I think at one point he had Yuri kind of out a little bit at one point, right? In the ground and pound at one point. And then Yuri recovered. So I wouldn't be against even a Yuri rematch. I think that's a fun fight. And a Jamal Hill fight would be good. But I think Jamal Hill and Yuri both spark them. I think, especially after receiving that spinning elbow. Like I said, and I talked about this earlier about the football theory and the head trauma that a lot of these guys, the rugby/football theory, I think you suffered a lot of brain damage. I think at a certain point, you just suffer so much, your brain's just going to go out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just quickly. And I think we're at a point with Reyes, where that's the case. I think they want to give Reyes more of a resume so they can dismiss John Jones's legacy. I mean, but my thing is like I said, like I totally would understand all of that if what do you call it? If Reyes had any chance of beating a top 5 guy. Because let's be honest, Smith obviously isn't going to increase his resume. Nobody's going to give a fuck if he beats Smith, right? So I assume that this is a staircase to get him to the top 5. This is supposed to be building him to get a top 5 opponent, get an upper. But I would understand if there's a selected, maybe like a grappler in there that he could fight. That's a pure grappler. Even Magomed, he's been striking, and Magomed I think could even knock him out. You know what I'm saying? Magomed isn't. Magomed gets shit about him being boring, this and that. I really don't think his fighting is all that boring. I think it's just more of his personality that's boring, and I think that's more of the problem. And yeah, he did drop Yuri with an up kick. You're right. It was something like I knew it was something weird like that. I didn't know. I didn't know if it was like he landed something on top and it kind of put Yuri out for a second. But yeah, it was like a pretty, it was a crazy fight. And I wouldn't mind seeing another rematch. I think nobody would complain because that's like a guaranteed finish. And but I just don't think that Reyes has a chance. My point is though, like I said, if you're gonna build anybody up, I don't understand why it's Reyes. But let's move on. We've talked about this fight for a very long time. We're going to get into the main card now. 5 fights left. Obviously, I made a prediction video already for the main and co-main, but we're going to just recap it here. And my bets are still coming up, guys. UFC 309, I know we're a little behind, but it is what it is. Nate Landwehr versus Doho Choi. This one is close. This one I think is going to be a fun fight. I was a bit 50-50. I think Doho Choi looked really good against Bill Algeo, right? In the summer. He looked very good after a pretty decent long layoff. He hasn't really fought all that much. I believe he fought in like the South Korean military. Is that true? And obviously there's a lot of crazy shit going on in South Korea. I'm not really caught up in all that. I don't know what's going on like exactly. I know that they declared martial law. I don't know why. And I saw like, then they're like I don't think it's their president, but like someone in their government like hop a fence. I don't know. I saw something like that on Instagram Live. Ratchik is top 5 without a single win over a top fiver. They've pulled this before. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think what they should have done, honestly, is Reyes Rajic, my opinion. And just call it there. You know what I mean? And whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, you sell them. You fucking, get them. You put them down the whole well of losses. That's what I would think. But look, I'm not the UFC. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe Dominic Reyes will become a fucking reigning dominant champion, defeat Alex Pereira, and prove all of us wrong. I think he's maybe it's a youth thing. How old is Reyes? Because if Reyes is old, I'm gonna be even more thrown off by this. 34 years of age. I mean, he's not exactly like a young spry chicken, so I don't understand this either. Like, I would understand if he's like a 27-year-old. They're like, all right, look, let's try to build him up, give him a year or two, and we'll see where he brings us. No, he's 34. This is do or die. This is the perfect do or die matchup. But well, let's move on though. I talked about this for a long time. I'm sure people want to hear about other fights. Nate Landwehr versus Do Ho Choi. I'm gonna go with Nate Landwehr. This is going to be a fucking great fight to open up the main card. Let's be honest. I don't think this fight is going to go to a decision at all. I think someone's going to finish somebody. Even though Nate Landwehr is pretty tough, I think Do Ho Choi, if he gets this done, it'll be very, very impressive. I'll be super impressed. And I would be curious to see what does he do next. Like, hopefully he doesn't just go in a layoff again. But I think Nate Landwehr has just been more active. I think he's tough. I think he's going to, hurt Do Ho Choi. And I think he'll probably finish him. I think he'll finish him, end of second round, third round. Maybe it does go to decision, but I don't know. I don't think it'll go to decision. I think it could really be anywhere. 34 isn't that old for light heavyweight. That is true. Light heavyweight, I forget about that. Light heavyweight, Alex is 37. We've seen Glover become the champ at 41. That is true. I didn't think of that. I didn't think about that. But still, I don't know. It's just to build him up when it's just so apparent that his chin is gone. I don't get any of that. But yeah, so I think that Nate Landwehr, though, will win this by knockout. So let's move on. I'm going to pick Kron Gracie. No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm not picking Kron Gracie. I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell by KO, guys. This might be a hot take. I think a lot of people are probably going to say Bryce Mitchell by decision. I'm going to go Bryce Mitchell by KO because I think his striking is severely underrated, guys. Remember, he rocked Ilia Topuria at one point, guys. And so Ilia Topuria is a savage on the feet. He did pretty decent, and he apparently had the flu. I mean, he had all these sicknesses. I think, obviously, he suffered a big knockout against Josh Emmett. I don't think it'll make a difference because of who he's facing in Kron Gracie. Obviously, Kron Gracie is more of a grappler. Kron Gracie, it's good to hear him, acknowledge and not just, you just blame fans. He did say, hey, look, at the end of the day, he didn't fight good in that last fight against Charles Jourdain, right? That last year. He didn't fight good in that fight. And, it seems like to me, jiu-jitsu guy, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, they have a lot of injuries, and I think that's probably why the layoff was so significant. I think that Mitchell's going to keep this on the feet, and I think he's going to hurt Kron Gracie, and I think he might get a first or second round knockout, guys. And I think it might be shocking for a lot of people. I think that, but he dropped Edson Barboza as well. I mean, Bryce Mitchell isn't some doof, you know what I'm saying, on the feet. You know what I'm saying? No, he does some damage. I'm not saying that Edson Barboza has a granite chin, but I'm just saying, I think a lot of people imagine, oh, he's going to take down Edson Barboza. No, he dropped him at one point, So I think Bryce Mitchell has this pretty clearly. I'd be shocked if Kron Gracie wins, a matter of fact. But maybe a submission. I mean, that's something I could obviously see. A fluke submission. But I think Mitchell first, second round knockout. Gane. I added split decision here just to be a little special because I do think that this fight is going to be close. I think Gane is going to win, but by split decision, guys. So let's talk about it. They fought a couple years back. Wasn't the most entertaining fight. It was okay. That eventually gave Ciryl Gane the title shot against Derek Lewis. This was 2021, 2022, something like that. Yeah, split decision, I think this is going to go. Why do I think this? I think Volkov, I think he should definitely go more for takedowns. And we saw in the Tai Tuivasa fight, he went for takedowns. He mixed up the game plan. That's what he needs to do against Gane. I think Gane's going to be expecting this as a striking matchup. Gane has been working on the wrestling. And I thought Gane was going to lose against Spivak, actually. I know that prediction really aged like milk. but like milk, as if like I left it when that fight happened, because yeah, that was a terribly aged prediction that I put out there. But I just thought to just give a brief explanation, I thought that Spivak just wasn't necessarily a regular traditional wrestler. I thought that he had more trips, and I thought that was going to be harder for Gane to adjust to so early on, and I thought it was going to be too on his mind, but I move on. I think that if Volkov is going to win this, he's going to have to, obviously, I think he's going to mix in the strikes and the takedowns. That's what it's going to have to be. And because Gane, he probably has been really practicing the takedown. Seems like he's been really working. He hasn't fought in a while. I don't know if that's due to injury. I don't know if that's due to the movie. I don't know what that's due to. But yeah, he hasn't fought in a while. And yeah, so hopefully he's been working on his wrestling. But even if he has, I don't think he's going to be expecting Volkov to take him down. So even if Volkov takes him down early in the first round, that's a round stolen right there. I think if Volkov takes him down again at some point, taking him down early will slow down Ciryl Gane's movement right off the bat. So then you got him slower. There's a very, very real chance, I think, that Volkov wins this fight. I'm honestly talking myself into picking Volkov, but I think that Ciryl Gane has been working on their takedowns. We saw in the last fight that he was very good in the striking. I don't think taking him down will gas him out so much, because he did, when Francis took him down, he didn't look so gassed. And I think, come on, dude, at this point, the John Jones fight happened almost 2 years ago. Crazy enough, time flies, but almost 2 years ago. I would think he's probably been working significantly on getting, not just takedown defense, but getting up once you're down. You know what I mean? And I saw that he trained with some Dagestani wrestlers and things like that. And Volkov, obviously he's not an amazing 10 out of 10 wrestler. But I think he could potentially mix it up. And I think if he mixes it up, that's going to be the game plan. Mixing up the strikes with the takedown. I think there's a very real chance that Volkov wins this, guys. I think there's a very, very real chance. I don't think the odds... I think Ciryl Gane's a heavy favorite, but I think that the odds should not reflect that at all. I don't think the odds reflect this fight at all. And a lot of these fights, I've been saying that a lot, and I think that some of these favorites are ridiculous, including the main and co-main, I think, as well, and we're going to get into that next. But this is just another example. I delusionally believe in Volkov. It's not delusional, dude. It's 1,000% possible, and I'm honestly talking myself into it as I'm talking right now. I might honestly go back and pick Volkov. Honestly, I'm talking myself into this. It just depends. Is he going to follow a game plan? If he doesn't follow the game plan and leaves us raging at the TV like, what are you doing, Volkov? Yeah, he's going to lose. If this is a striking match, he's going to lose. We saw that in the first fight. Gane pretty much won 5-0, no rounds, like 5-5-5-0. So we know that Gane's a better striker. But if Volkov mixes it up like we saw in the Taito Ivasa fight, it's possible, guys. I think that it's 1,000% likely. So that's my prediction. Ciryl Gane, but I don't know. I think it's a split decision, though. I think that Ciryl Gane will win a round at the very least. And I think it's going to come down to I think it's going to go one judge goes one way, one judge goes the other way. And I think we're going to be debating who won the fight. That's my prediction. So it could be Volkov. I could be walking away saying Volkov. I think Gane's been too inactive and unfocused on MMA, but I just know he's better striker overall. Exactly. That's the thing, that's the big question mark too, is what has he been doing during this time off? Has he really just been chilling, doing movies, doing TV shows on Netflix? Or has he been doing that and also training? He said he's been training. He said he's been looking for a fight. He's saying that stuff like he wanted to fight Aspinall in March. I don't know how true any of that is. I think most people probably think that's not true. And I don't blame them, because probably doesn't make any sense, because they probably wanted to save Tom for the UK show. Although, what was March? March wasn't, I would understand April more than March, because I know UFC 300, they were really scrambling for a main event. But, he said he wanted to fight Pavlovich at UFC 300, all these different names. Like, is that true? I have no idea. Oh, Ciryl Gane, no, wasn't Ciryl Gane supposed to fight on the Saudi Arabia card too? Like, there was all these cards that were rumored to have him. So why didn't he do it? Gane doesn't seem like the kind of person to be training and actively improving outside of camp other than hitting pads. I 1,000% agree with that assessment, and that is what gives me pause. But if he's been working, I think that we could see significant improvements. I 1,000% agree with your assessment. I also get that same vibe that Gane is not like that. Because at the end of the day, and look, there's evidence to support this. Look at the Francis Ngannou fight. How did he lose that fight? He was on his way to winning. First 2 rounds, clearly, Ciryl Gane, on his way to winning. And how did he lose? He got taken down. How did he lose to John Jones? Got taken down. Now, granted, I will say John Jones is, of course, just a phenomenal fighter, phenomenal wrestler. So maybe he was training this whole time, and there's just nothing you could do about it because John Jones is just that good. But, losing to a guillotine choke is not the best look after you just, did all that. If he's been working, he'll 30-27. If not, Volkov. No, I think even if he's been training, I think it will be a close fight because I think that Ciryl Gane. I think it'll be a close fight if Volkov grapples. If Volkov doesn't grapple, it's gonna be an easy fight for Gane. But if Volkov, that's the thing. There's a lot of questions that we have. We don't know the game plan for Volkov. Like if Volkov came out and said, "I'm gonna wrestle him," obviously that'd be a stupid move because you'd want to catch him off guard. But if we knew this for a fact, that'd be a different story. And yeah, so I think that Volkov is going to win this. I mean, I think that Gane's going to win this by split decision. I think it'll be a close fight. I think no matter what, it's going to be a close fight, especially if Volkov grapples. If Volkov grapples, this will be a very, very close fight because I could see, because another thing about Ciryl Gane is he doesn't do enough damage on the feet where it's like, oh, he stole that round with that one shot. He's very, like, volume heavy, jab, you know what I'm saying? Like leg kick, controlling the range, out volume being fast. He isn't one that like, oh, we hurt him with a shot and he's wobbling all over the place. Volkov's winning. I feel like, yeah, guys, I feel like we're starting a movement here. If Volkov grapples, I really only see him securing in the first round with the wrestling. I agree with that. That's exactly what I was saying. Like, I feel like the first round, he might steal that first round because Gane's not going to expect it. The question is, does Gane defend the takedowns in 2 and 3? My thing is I find it hard to believe that across 10 minutes, Volkov can't get at least one takedown and hold him down for a significant amount of time to steal a round. That is just, I find it hard to believe, and that's why I'm kind of leaning towards Volkov now. I don't know, guys. It's a very close fight. It's a very close fight because, look, maybe Gane gets the second round. Maybe halfway through the third round, Volkov gets a takedown. That's super likely. Yeah, I believe in Volkov. I believe in Volkov, too. I think you'd have to be delusional to say there's no chance Volkov would win. It's a close fight. I like Ciryl Gane. I like Volkov, too. I like both guys. But, it's annoying. I will say Gane's been annoying not fighting. So he's definitely lost a little bit of stock there. But I did like Ciryl Gane when he was active and fighting, and he's an interesting fighter. And he's a guy also that tries to get finishes, right? He does do a little bit of, like in the Tai Tuivasa fight, he could have coasted to a decision. In the Derek Lewis fight, he could have coasted to a decision, but he did chase the finish, risk himself at times, and create good fights. But like I said, I think it'll be. I'm curious to see this fight because I hope Volkov grapples just so we could at least answer, hey, did Ciryl Gane improve in this? Because then then we start talking about fights like Tom Aspinall. Hopefully after the John Jones fight happens, hopefully that fight does happen at some point. But we're talking about Tom Aspinall. Does he defend against Tom Aspinall? A takedown. If he does well against Volkov, then we're starting those conversations. Pillow fist versus pillow fist to the back of the head. What are you talking about? I don't get that. I don't get that. I'm confused. I don't know if I'm casual now, but yeah, no. I don't know. But no, like I said, my big thing with me is like I said, Gane doesn't throw big shots that are going to steal a round. I think that a takedown might be significant enough to steal rounds, and if that's the case, Volkov just needs two takedowns because it's going to be very hard to get up from a 6'7" guy that is extremely heavy. I mean, unless Gane's been really working on that. That's what is really going to matter. If Gane can get up from takedowns, it's going to be huge. Gane's fight, counting. Oh, yeah. Well, against Tai Tuivasa, remember that finish. That was a straight hammer fist. But let's move on to the co-main. Now, I've been going back and forth with this. I made my prediction video a couple days ago. On Wednesday, I believe it came out. And I said Shavkat by decision. I was a little more confident when I made that video. But after thinking about it some more and looking back, I could see Ian Garry getting finished. First of all, this is a close fight, but I'm pretty confident. And Spivak, I have to watch the Spivak fight back. But Ian Garry, I think if Ian Garry wins, the only way I see Ian Garry winning is a complete masterclass. That's the only way I see him winning, guys. I don't think he's going to knock out Shavkat. Obviously, he's not going to submit. I mean, I shouldn't say obviously because you don't know what the work he's doing with Charles Oliveira, but I don't think he's going to submit Shavkat and all that. So I only way I see this is him keeping this on the feet, defending takedowns, circling the octagon, landing strike, out-voluming Shavkat for like 5 rounds. Or at least just 3 rounds and getting a decision. But I don't see that happening. I think that Shavkat has way more tools, way more weapons in the striking, first of all, and then that's ignoring the grappling. Of course, the grappling on top of that. You know what I mean? And all that. Let me see what you guys hold up. Yeah, no, I said so. I think he has a lot more tools with the grappling, with the strike. I mean, you see the spinning back kick, the spinning heel or kicks or whatever to the head for a Shavkat. He could definitely kick Ian Garry and stuff. He has a lot of a really good kicking game. So does Ian Garry. Don't get me wrong, guys. But I think that Ian Garry is going to be more of a technical. Oh, let me move, jab, 1-2, and put on a really good technical performance. That's how I would see Ian Garry winning. But I think that Shavkat's going to track him down. Shavkat's going to press forward, trap him up against the fence, clinch with him, knee him to the body, really do some nasty body work to Ian Garry. And that's why I think he might be able to break down Ian Garry and eventually get the finish, seeing it is 5 rounds. And Ian Garry has had a lot less time to train for 5 rounds than Shavkat has, seeing that Shavkat's known about this for a minute. So Shavkat's going to be more than conditioned for this. Another thing to consider is Shavkat's coach is Ian Garry's coach, which is a big deal. Because while they both have trained with each other, Shavkat's coach has trained Ian Garry, while Ian Garry's coach right now has not trained Shavkat. So, obviously maybe there's little things that the coach knows, says, hey, look, Ian Garry isn't good with this. You know what I'm saying? Ian Garry isn't good with that. Ian Garry, if you push him to this limit, maybe he crumbles. If he doesn't cover that, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole bunch of different things you could do. But Ian Garry does seem confident. I'm liking Ian Garry's his trash talk going into this. Ian Garry is always super confident, and Ian Garry gets a lot of shit, but you guys got to admit, he has some balls, bro. Taking this fight. We make fun of Ian Garry sometimes on the channel. We do make fun of him. We do call him a cuck. But we also got to give him his flowers when he's actually, hold up, this is about to fall. We also have to give him his flowers when he does something good. And not a lot of people would do this. Clearly. A lot of people rejected him. And Ian Garry has balls, because Ian Garry doesn't need to do this. Ian Garry, it's not smart for him to do this, if we're going to be honest. Not smart for him. He should fight Buckley, build himself up, get a title shot, get a full camp, all this and that. No, he believes in himself. He says, look, his confidence almost makes me think sometimes, does he know something we don't? Like, is he being serious? Like, does he know something from the training that we don't know? And that's what gives me pause. But the more the days go by, the more I get confident in Shavkat, and the less I see Ian Garry being able to win this. And I think if Ian Garry wins, that would be massive for him, as well as just massive for his reputation. I think that might do a complete 360 if he actually beat Shavkat. If he knocks out Shavkat, that would be insane. That would be fucking nuts. But yeah, I think that Shavkat's gonna break him down with the knees to the body and all that. If you guys want to know more, I know I talked a lot about this, but I had a full video breaking it down that I did yesterday. But the main event as well. I know this is a hot take. I saw the comments in the last video. A lot of people calling me crazy. And I've seen a lot of people say, oh no, Pantoja's gonna take him down easy. Guys, I got Asakura. I added the little belt to him. And I'm fairly I'm not super confident, but I'm fairly confident in this. Now, what gives me pause of me saying, Jack, why are you doing this to yourself? Why would you fall for this? You picked O'Malley last time too. You keep falling for the trap. If he beats Shavkat, people are gonna call robbery. It depends how he wins. Calling it now. If people do that and it's not, that would just be so corny. The hate on Ian Garry. I don't like Ian Garry. But I think that the reason people shit on him is not dumb, but it's just like, I won't say it's dumb, but it's annoying. You're crazy, Jay. Yeah, I know. A lot of people say I'm crazy with this, but we'll get into this. But I said, the thing about the Ian Garry thing about the whole cuck stuff is that it's annoying because it takes away the real reason people hate Ian Garry. And people just say, oh, you guys are being idiots. It's not a big deal. Who cares? It's not about that, and it's never been about that. I could care less what the fuck he does. If he's really cuck, obviously, I don't think he's really a cuck anyway, right? But if he even was, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't care. I could care less if Ian's a cuck. But what really bothers me, really does bother me, and I'll break this down right now, is the whole Neil Magny situation. I hated how he did that fight. Hated the disrespect he showed Neil Magny after the fight. And when he put on a terrible performance, like a laughably bad performance. And the fact that, he went through his whole shit with the internet and had all this backlash because of the cuck thing and everything like that, and had all this bad shit happen to him. I remember he did an interview, I believe it was with Ariel Helwani. And Ariel asked him, I think it was a question, like, maybe it wasn't him, maybe it was someone else, but I think it was Ariel. And he was like, hey, like, with the Neil Magny stuff, like, you hear, Neil Magny, obviously, if you guys don't remember, Ian Garry made some accusations of Neil Magny hitting, like, his child, basically, like, abusing Neil Magny was abusing his own child. Like, Ian Garry was accusing him of this because Neil Magny said that he was going to spank Ian Garry like he does his own kids. Yeah, this was the extent of it. And Ariel was like, look, or whoever interviewed him said, look, like, this is what happened. Neil Magny's now in a custody battle. He might, this is actually really affecting his life. Do you regret making this statement? All you got to say is, like, look, at the end of the day, I know we fought. I don't think, I don't think that he should, what do you call it? I don't think that, like, it's just for promotion. I didn't mean it like that. I don't mean to cause you You don't have to apologize, but just say, like, take some accountability, especially when there's a video of Ian Garry after the fight literally admitting to saying that he stretched the truth, that he knew wasn't true, and said it anyway for promotion. You could have said right there, look, I did it for promotion. It's a joke. People need to back off. Who gives a fuck? You don't have to apologize. You could be unapologetic about it. I mean, saying like, oh, people are stupid. It's a joke, whatever. It's for promotion. It's trash talk. I'm allowed to say that. You don't even have to say sorry, but you had an but to say no, you don't regret anything, and to act still like Neil Magny does beat his kids. Ridiculous to me, but I digress. Let me not chat too much about that. That I don't like Ian Garry for. I know some people don't like him because of the whole Jesus thing, where he said to Vicente Luque that Vicente should call him Jesus. I don't really care about that. Like, I just think that's just stupid. Like, it's just stupid. It's just bad trash talk, in my opinion. Just bad. And we're running really long on this, guys. So if you guys watch this whole thing, appreciate it. I know a lot of people have been in the live chat throughout this whole thing. We're gonna get to the bets next. I forgot about that. It's been so long. I thought this was it. Asakura, I've already seen you crazy. Guys, I think Asakura gets it done. Asakura is very good. I think Asakura, first of all, he has very good timing. I think his timing is very good. His takedown defense is very good. And I have paused because, look, we've seen time and time again, like I said in my last video, Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, Corey Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov, I'm trying to think, Dustin Poirier, Islam Makhachev. You can name time and time again this year where the grappler clearly beat the striker, and because the striker just was slow on the feet, just didn't want to throw too much because they're afraid of getting taken down. It could be the same exact situation here, and it might be, and I might say, I once again fell for the trap, guys, and that's that. And I'd probably be mad at myself, be like, how did I fucking make this mistake again? But Kai Asakura really has good takedown defense. There's the video of him defending the takedowns with Merab. Very impressive stuff. And he just overall has good takedown defense. And very good at getting up, too. I think that Pantoja didn't look the best against Steve Erceg. I think that he could be potentially slowing down. I've seen some people say about Kai Asakura, this is a new weight class. I'm going down a flyweight. But the thing they consider is, I believe in Ryzen, they have a rehydration clause. And he's a very big guy, too. He's very big for the flyweight weight class. If the weight cut goes good, which I think it will go good, seeing that he has the PI and everything like that, if it goes well, he could be bigger, easily able to defend against Pantoja. And I think he catches Pantoja. I think it'll be close. I think Pantoja's going to go for takedowns. I think that the takedowns will be defended. I think that there'll be a lot of clinch work. Maybe he does get taken down at one point and he gets back up. But I think eventually Asakura catches him with something. Maybe it's a knee up the middle. Maybe it's a right hand. Maybe it's something like that. Catches Pantoja. Pantoja gets knocked down, and he finishes him. I think we're going to see Kai Asakura. And I know it's crazy because Pantoja has looked so amazing against all these UFC flyweights. And for this guy to make his debut and just knock him out would be insane. But I genuinely think that this is a good matchup for Asakura. And I think it's also good timing for him, too. I haven't seen anything about the rise and rehydration stuff. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I thought so. But maybe I'm completely wrong. I thought I saw that a while ago. But guys, I think the moment you guys have been all waiting for, maybe. What you guys have been waiting for? The bets, guys. The bets. Let me kind of move this a little bit so you guys can read this a little better. All right, guys. So I did 3 singles and a parlay. We're just going to do it small. I'll review on Sunday. We're going to be live 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, right after the pay-per-view. And we'll review this, and we'll see. Did it hit? Did it not hit? These are all things I actually bet on. So one has. I don't know about Ryzen. I don't know. Well, whatever. Look, I'm on this. And I'm not sure. Maybe Ryzen doesn't. Maybe I'm wrong. But regardless, I think that it'll be fine. But what I'm saying is this. Look, let's talk about this. First one, Shavkat by decision. As I said, I've become a little bit less confident about the decision thing, but I still think it's very possible. And I made the bet a little beforehand, so too late now. And yeah, but I think it's possible. I think Shavkat, Ian Garry is a fresh, young dude, and what do you call it? You're gonna be harder to knock out. Kai Asakura money line. I think he's live at all times. Easy. He's a guy that gets finishes. He could easily knock out somebody. I think money line is good. He could potentially win a decision, so that's why I don't think it's safe to go with the knockout one. And Sterling money line. I think that's good money for it. I think that he is way too big of an underdog in my opinion. I think there should be closer, way closer odds, way closer. I think even if you disagree with what do you call it, with Sterling. I mean, if you disagree that Sterling's gonna win, you got to acknowledge to a certain extent, yeah, that Sterling has a pretty decent chance at winning. So I think you got to kind of make it 50-50. But then let's do our parlay. I made a parlay, guys. So we'll see how well this parlay does, and we'll come back, like I said, Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern, and review this. First leg, Hooper money line, obviously a massive favorite, pretty guaranteed there. We talked about this way earlier. Gane versus Volkov over 1.5. Like I said, I think that a takedown is pretty much guaranteed from Volkov. I'd be shocked if there wasn't at least an attempt. That's going to stall it at least a few rounds. And both these guys don't have like one big one-shot knockout power. Volkov, I also just realized I spelled this wrong. Volkov. Sorry, guys, for that. I'm just realizing that now. That sucks. Volkov over 1.5. So I think that it'll be delayed a little bit. None of these guys have big knockout power. I think Volkov has more first round finishes than Ciryl Gane does. And against strikers, Volkov traditionally does well, but it just goes to show how well Gane striking is. But I think that this fight, if it does end by knockout, it'll be later, but I don't think it will. I think it'll go to a decision. Jack, do I get a call in to make fun of the Asakura pick? To make fun of the Asakura pick? Maybe we'll do on Sunday, guys. Honestly, maybe we'll do a little Discord stuff on Sunday. Honestly, I think that look, the Kai Asakura pick, it's not bad, guys. You know, and if it happens, if he wins, I better get an apology. That's all I gotta say. I better get an apology. I really want to do the Discord stuff, guys. I actually have been thinking about that since the suggestion. I want to do a little Discord. It also would plug the Discord very nicely. We got to plan that out. Especially, like I said, UFC's about to be off, and we'll do more streams, do more everything during that period. So that's great. But to continue the parlay real quick, let me just finish this parlay. And we're about to wrap up the stream because we've been going for almost 90 minutes. Shavkat money line. Shavkat, I think that's, no debate there. I think most people probably figure Shavkat's going to win this. Dominic Reyes money line. I'm pretty confident Dominic Reyes is going to win. And that, if you put all that in a parlay, you should get plus 105, which is underdog money. So I think all that is pretty odd. If he wins, I'll give you an apology. Thank you. I expect a long-winded apology. And look, I gave you your credit because you picked Dan Hooker over Gamrot, which was impressive, I will say. But I will say that was pretty impressive. And I gave you your apology then, so you got to give me an apology for this one. But hey, look, we'll see. We'll see. I know it's a big risk, Asakura, but we'll see. I think it's. I know there's a lot on the. I know that there's an argument about, oh, Asakura, you know, he hasn't been in the UFC stage. Guys, he's fought in stadiums before. He's fought in big events, and he's a pretty big deal in Japan. So he has like a little. He's kind of used to the spotlight. I'm sure it's still. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm sure he's probably still been nervous for it. I mean, this is the fucking UFC. But yeah, guys. So this is the picks. We did the picks, and that is that, guys. So. Yeah, guys, let me know what you guys thought about the picks. Let me see. Is there any news before we wrap this thing up? That could be here. If I get more picks right than you, do we get a Discord Jackbox night? I mean, I'm down with that anyway, dude. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Let's see the news. Actually, let me do this first. Let me check. Let me look up on Twitter first. And then I'll switch over. You guys should see. Okay. It looks like there is some sort of news. Alex just threw a pair of gloves and wanted to fight. Jamal Hill wanted to fight him. Oh my God. This is breaking news, guys. Wow. Wow. So guys, you guys are seeing this right now? They announced a few more fights on IG. Yeah, I know they did. Guys, are you guys seeing this, guys? Alex Pereira, Jamal Hill just got into a heated altercation. Wow. Wow, guys. This is my reaction to seeing, oh, well, there's a video idea for tomorrow. Wow, that's insane. That's pretty fucking crazy. For free. Damn. So, yeah, Hillpush Pod. This is crazy. So, you know, and look, at the end of the day, I totally understand not wanting to fight for free, but you know, Hill's talked a lot of shit, and I think that Hill, it seems like to me, is playing a character, or not playing a character, but you know, is playing it up on social media. I even alluded to this in my last video that I think he's kind of playing into the whole sore loser type of thing. So we're talking about it and all this and making headlines. But he's talked a lot of shit about Pereira and after the loss, and I think Pereira's a little sick of it. And Pereira's like, what the hell? Yeah, but Pereira mogged him, bro. Pereira really did mog him, bro. Like, that is really bad. That's a bad look. After he talked a lot of shit on social media, that's a bad look. And, but Hill did look pretty heated. Hill looked tight. Yeah, look at him here. Like, Hill's like, what the fuck? Yeah, he's pissed. Holy shit. I'm going to look in the chat in a second. What did I say? Also, Asakura used to fighting in a ring, not a cage. He also relies on grounded knees. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say relies necessarily, but I would, you know, but the ring is a very fair point. That is a fair point. They announced a few more fights on IG. Yeah, I reacted to that in the beginning of the video, at the beginning of the stream, I think before you came, but with Moicano, unless it was like brand new, like, you know what I mean? Unless it was other than Moicano and Dariush, and I saw that they did Yuri official, and all those fights were pretty much known though. Yeah, that's just crazy. Wow. Yeah, and Full Send MMA like stamping. Oh, is there? Oh my God, there's a press conference tomorrow. That's amazing. I'm actually really hyped for this. So there's a press conference tomorrow for the UFC 311 press conference. A little press conference before a month before the fight. Damn, this is gonna be interesting. You know, one thing I'm curious about is Islam Makhachev talking shit Well, I'm sorry. I should say Merab talking shit to Umar while Islam's next to him. Like, does Islam take advantage? He'll looks chunky, not tight. Yeah, chunky. Yo, I'm dead. Nah, he does look a bit chunky, but he also looks mad. They should have Jamal Hill at the press conference. Seems like he's in Vegas. Oh no, he's always in Vegas. But I guess who is he fighting? Yuri. So no, Yuri's not gonna be there. Wow. Guys, this is insane. Breaking news. Wow, and there's another angle. Wow. I don't know. Wow. That's crazy. Wow. That is insane. So you're telling me that Michael Chandler gets custom shorts, but not Pantoja, who will make his third title offense? Yeah, crazy, right? That they don't give him time. I was thinking that too. You guys hear about this Hawk 2 coin? Should I buy it? Jack, do you have a bingo card for 310? No, I don't. Did you send in the Discord? They can't dig Gary out of the mountains. Yeah, for the presser. Facts, right? Yo, do you guys hear about this stockbroker guy that got fucking... or not stockbroker, what is he, a healthcare worker? I don't know why I said stockbroker, but I said, what is this, The Joker? You guys see that movie? The healthcare worker that got shot. Crazy, man. Happened right here in New York, too. Very close to me. I mean, I'm trying to see. So, yeah, big altercation, it seems like. UFC. Jamal Hill. I mean, look, Jamal Hill needs a new PR team, man. Constantly makes himself look worse every day. But this is the thing that I'm saying, guys. At a certain point, though, you guys got to understand, you know, he's also playing the bad guy. He's making us talk about him. He's making us say, this guy's an idiot. Yeah, I sent it. Okay, yeah, so if you sent it, this is why everyone should join the Discord. If you guys are watching right now, join the Discord right now. There's all types of shit. Like, there's bingo cards. There's all bonus. Man, we're talking live through the fights. Soon enough, we're going to have the calls on the stream very soon. Like I definitely want to do more of that, especially, like I said, during this break and stuff like that. And, yeah, guys. But, wow, breaking news. That is pretty shocking. Yeah, so that was my live reaction. Seeing you guys get live reactions like this. Let's see. One last refresh. One last refresh. Oh, Moicano, I think, was comeback of the year. Yeah, guys. Crazy. All right, so I think that'll be pretty much it, guys, for the live. You guys have killed it. Thank you, PZ61, the GOAT. The GOAT, because you carried the chat. Now, there's a lot of people that are chatting it up, guys. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate everyone that tuned in to the stream. Appreciate everyone that just likes listening to me. And yeah, guys, so let me know if you guys are watching this after the live. Like, if you guys not watching this live, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of the prediction, or just let me know in the chat. You guys are the dopest in all of combat sports. Best fans I could ever ask for. And new video tomorrow, 10 a.m. Then there will be a video Sunday, and then a live stream. So that's what's going on. Maybe a video on Saturday if there's breaking news, but most likely not. I don't think there'll be any breaking news, except, I mean, there's a big press conference, UFC 311, so you never know. Man, maybe there will be some breaking news coming up. But, yeah, so I'm excited, though. I'm excited for this press conference that's happening, guys, because I'm actually really happy, like I said, for Umar and Merab. And I love when they do these early press conferences. They really got to do these more. Thank you all for tuning in, you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of the picks. You guys are the best fan base in MMA.